Okay, so Alex, we know the 4 areas. Where do people get hung up with this?
Well, first of all, the first step to healing in any tradition is awareness. So if you're aware of those 4 areas and you know you have to give to it, then that's the beginning. And the predicament is not having a lead flow, not having people come to you. People who are in business want to constantly cold call and go out to the world, and the world does not know them. And that's the 4th area that people should be going towards if you're an entrepreneur, whether you're starting up or not. Now, there is a 5th area, and that is you. Now, I want you to imagine this hub and spoke scenario. Let's say on a clock, you have the middle, that's you, that's little you. And then let's say at 3 o'clock, you can imagine where 3 o'clock is, right? At 3 o'clock, you have your circle of customers. And then at 6 o'clock, you have your circle of suppliers. At 9 o'clock, you have your circle of team members or your employees. And then at 12 o'clock, at the very top, you have the rest of the world. Okay? In the middle is you, and then you have these other areas that you're going to be giving to, right? And then they're going to give back to you. You give first and then you receive, and you can't be a crappy receiver. You got to be able to receive. And a lot of people I know are crappy receivers. How about you? I mean, if you're a crappy receiver, that means that you're clogging the system of give and take and serving and receiving. So it's critical. Now, here's what happens. There's something called a karmic echo. A karmic echo. Now, you know when you drop a pebble into the water and there's like an echo of ripples? Right. That's what happens when you're constantly making your customers successful, they make you successful. That's 1/4 of it. When you make, the little you is still in the middle. When you're making your suppliers successful, they make you successful. When you make your team successful, they make you successful. And the rest of the world successful, they make you successful. Then little you automatically echoes and becomes big you. Now imagine if you have this group of 4, the 5th person is you. Right. So little you is becoming big you. Then if little Daniel becomes big Daniel, and little Alex becomes big Alex, our big echoes that are colliding with each other have a lot more influence. And so we end up becoming more influential. Where people are stuck is they don't do it consistently, and they don't know how to bring this into their daily ritual. So how do we do this? I send out 2 thank you notes every single day.
Two thank you notes every day. Wow. Good.
Every day. And I write them, I write them for the week, and then I address them and I send them out. Now, those can go out to my team members, those can go out to my customers, they can go out to the rest of the world who are prospects, or I love doing them and sending them out to my suppliers, because suppliers are typically overlooked. Then many times I'll make a phone call and go for an upsell or a cross-sell to a customer. And that's continuing education. That's another touch. Mm-hmm. So the key is making them successful will in turn make you successful. And sometimes you give to a customer and a team member gives you something back. Again, you're not going to get back from where you're giving.
Right.
Now this doesn't seem like it makes sense, or it may not seem like it's business centered, but it is.
It certainly is.
You do it every single day and you don't think about when you're going to get it back or how you're going to get it back.
Right.
And you get it back in a big, big way. And so where people get stuck is they don't do it long enough. There are 3 reasons for failure. You want to know what they are?
Absolutely. Do tell.
Number 1, not getting started. So if you don't get started because you're maybe chasing another bright, shiny object, that's a huge reason for failure, not getting started. That's the majority of the reason why people fail. They don't get started.
Okay.
Shelf help, we call it, right?
Right.
Number 2, they don't keep going. So if you don't keep going, it's like, pumping a water pump and the water coming up from the water table down below from, let's say, 100 feet on a farm or something, it goes up to 50 and never comes out the other end. You never see the drops of water because you stop pumping and then the water goes back down.
Seeps back down.
So you got to keep pumping until you have a gusher, and that is the power of momentum. Bill Gates said in the beginning, I put in 1 input and I got 1,000 outputs. Mm-hmm. In the end, I put in 1 input and I got 1,000,000 outputs, right? So what you want to do, in the beginning you may put in 1,000 inputs and get 1 output.
Right.
But the goal is to keep inputting so that the outputs come out. And then finally, people don't follow directions. So that's the 3rd reason for failure. If you don't follow directions, you're passive aggressively saying, yeah, Alex, I've heard of that. Yeah, Daniel, I know how that works. Right. And you don't do it, that's another reason for failure. So don't get started, reason for failure. Not keeping it going, reason for failure. And not following directions, huge reason for failure.
Excellent, man. So take us and kind of tell us, you said about not being a good receiver. I mean, I can see so many folks